And that's why I finish.
You smiled.
All right, so for those of you who checked out last week's video, you saw that I dropped an Adidas spec ad. So in this video, I wanna break down that ad. I wanna show you all the things that went into the planning, the details, the coordination, scouting, and editing, of course. So just an overall breakdown of the full commercial. And if you haven't seen the commercial, check out that video and come back here because we're about to take a deep dive behind the scenes. What's going on, guys? Yo, I finally had some time to go out and kind of shoot for myself. For those of you who do not know, I just launched my website. So if you're interested, I'll leave that link in the description. And because of that, I've been creating some spec work and redoing some real work and, getting the concepts out of my head. And one of those big concepts that I've been thinking about for over a year now has been a commercial, like a running commercial for Adidas, Nike, or Apple Watch, or anybody. So what I did last week was I went ahead and made that. So there's a few things that went into making it, and of course we're gonna talk about that, but the first big thing that went into making it was choosing what I wanted to shoot with, and I know I wanted to use the Blackmagic Pocket 6K and the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter. Mostly at 35 just to try to simulate what a prime would be like because I am really interested in getting my hands on some cine lenses. But after I kind of knew what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to make a fast-paced handheld running ad. I didn't want to really use any slow motion. I wanted it to be all, handheld and, brush up on my skills pretty much because I haven't been shooting a lot of purely handheld stuff. Most of the stuff I've been doing has just been interviews and story videos. So I wanted to get out and run and gun to the full extent. So I built out me a Blackmagic kit and I knew I wanted to use only available light. So we just went at it. Now, I had the concept in mind and the big thing here was planning it out. So when it came to planning, I didn't. I didn't storyboard, I didn't script anything. I honestly wanted to have a day in the park with my friends and it kind of turned into an Adidas ad. So what happened was I went up to New Orleans to visit the park, the city park, and I saw the area and it was crazy beautiful. So I knew I wanted to shoot there and I hit up my friends Dean, Michaela, and I was like, yo, let's go film a running commercial in the park in New Orleans and also just have a fun day. And I was like, pick some athletic wear. It doesn't really matter which because I thought I was gonna be doing an Apple Watch commercial or a Nike commercial. Well, Michaela showed up in all Adidas and that was perfect. So the commercial became an instant Adidas ad. So don't be like me, actually plan your shoots out. I recommend you storyboarding because storyboarding on the front end helps so much with the edit because you're gonna see later, I kind of struggled with the edit portion of this and bring it all together because I had not planned out a single thing. Now, on location when it came to shooting, as I said, 18 to 35 millimeter with the Blackmagic 6K. So I shot this thing in the widescreen mode for the Blackmagic at 60 frames per second. I knew I wanted to have that cinematic and filmic look to it. So widescreen was definitely the way to go. And instead of shooting full frame and cropping it in post, I just wanted to go ahead and put it in the widescreen mode so I can be constantly conscious of my framing. And of course, after that, the rest was just getting the work done. So I've watched a ton of running commercials in preparation and I knew there was just certain shots I had to get. And when I got on shoot, we just kind of made it up as we went. So I got a bunch of extra shots. I got a bunch of different angles, a bunch of running things. I made sure to do my best to keep my camera stable because the Blackmagic nor the Sigma have image stabilization. And I didn't have my Easy Rig that day. So full handheld, no stabilization. And to be honest, this thing turned out great. There's even no stabilization in post. This is all 100% non-stabilized footage. So we shot a couple of endings, we shot a couple of beginnings. So if you're somebody like me and you like to procrastinate when it comes to the storyboarding, just go ahead and keep your bases covered. So shoot a couple of intro shots, shoot a couple of mids, get a lot of running in there. Just do full coverage because I didn't know what I wanted. So I didn't know what I had to get, and that is somewhere that you can improve on. Now, shooting done. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at what the timeline is like, because there is a lot of sound design in here. There is music selection that was probably the toughest part. And of course, grading the footage and getting it exactly how I wanted. I knew I wanted it to be a little bit more vintage, but let's take a look at the timeline and you can kind of see what I mean. Okay, so we are here in Premiere Pro and I'm just gonna break this down kind of how I see it. This is my intro section. This was added late game because I didn't know how to just start this thing. And the big reason for that was I had to pick the right music. So when it came to this edit, the first thing I did, other than cut down the B-roll, was figure out what music I was going to use. And the song I chose a few songs actually, but the song I settled on had this triumphant build to it, and I really like that about it because it fit the thematics of the commercial. So music can really set the mood for your commercial, your film, whatever you're doing. Just be mindful of that. So this is the song I chose. So a big thing here, and I'm gonna pause here. This is a switch in the music. What I've done here is I've cut the intro of the song and put it to pretty much the climax of the song because I knew I wanted to go from just a starting pose to a full-fledged sprint. So what I've done here is I've cut the song from being, you know, the steady build to something a bit more dramatic. So it has a build to it. So once again, song selection is really key. Another big thing when it comes after the song selection for me is you need to build up your sound design to work completely without your music. That is a very key thing. Now, I use Artlist.io, like I'll have it linked down in the description. That is where I get most of pretty much all my sounds from, like all the running sounds, the panting sounds. I had to put those in post because the audio from the day was terrible. Like there was construction going on in the background. There were so many people and I really couldn't use the audio. Plus it was right by a highway and I don't show cards. So you might have to fake it sometime, and finding some good sound design and some sound is a great way to go about doing that. And here I will play the full track with no music and just the sound design and the voiceover.
This is why I started. To find myself. To find relief. With every stretch, every step, I go a little further each time. It used to be about what they thought of me. It used to be about who I was. But now, it's about who I'm becoming. And that's why I finish.
So as you can see, there are running sounds, panting, there's cars kind of vaguely in the background, there's a few nature sounds. Using sound design really does help pull your film together, and that is something I always emphasize on. But for me, after I did sound, after I did music and arrangement, because arrangement was a nightmare, because no storyboard, once again, the main thing after that was the grading. So for the grading, I know for separation's sake, I wanted to keep the intro black and white, and while keeping the rest of this kind of in this beautiful graded color. I don't know what it is about the way this thing looks, but it really love the Blackmagic. This is what the color grade looks like, you know, when it's not there. It's very flat. There's really nothing too appealing for it. Everything has been shot in a very flat manner. So what I've done here is added just some general moody color grade, and I added a lot of film grain, which doesn't translate well on YouTube. So I will link the Vimeo link in the description. You can see the full thing on Vimeo and it has a little bit more texture to it. But adding this kind of grade to it just helped bring it all together for me. Just worked out so perfectly. And lastly was the voiceover. That was what pulled it together for me. I had no idea I wanted a voiceover or that I needed a voiceover until the final film was there. So I called talent back and I was like, hey, can you provide a quick voiceover for me? And because it was so last minute and because I had no script for it, we just kind of made it up. Like, to be honest, A lot of this stuff is on the spot and experimental for me, and this is all in preparation of a few things I'm gonna be doing in the future that will be a lot more planned out. I just kind of wanted to get this out of my system. So what we did, laid down the voiceover, timed it out, of course, to the already finished film, and it just kind of brought everything together. When everything was said and done and all of this came together, it looked like this.
This is why I started. To find myself, to find relief. With every stretch, every step, I go a little further each time. It used to be about what they thought of me. It used to be about who I was. But now, it's about who I'm becoming. And that's why I finish.
So yeah, if you are looking into creating your own commercial, a spec ad, maybe you need content for a website, like myself, link in the description. But you know, just go out, do it, plan it. Please plan it first. Don't be like me. But if you do want to go to a park and have fun with your friends, then this is a great result to come of that. And overall, the day was great. I could not ask for a better freaking result, and it just kind of worked out. But with that all being said, that's all I have for you today, guys. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, consider subscribing, because I'm bringing you more content just like this every week. So you guys stay safe, you're loved, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.